President Trump sending a strong message to countries relying on the Strait of Hormuz for their oil, demanding world leaders step up to help defend it. Matt Finn is live in Dubai with the latest. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Brian, the country we're in, the UAE, says Iran has now launched more than 2,000 drone attacks and 438 cruise missiles at this country since this war began. This country has actually taken more incoming fire from Iran than Israel. We've been hearing the explosions in the sky the past couple days. President Trump has been urging Gulf countries like the UAE to take a stand against Iran and control the Strait of Hormuz.
The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. The countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on.
And a White House official tells Fox that NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte will meet with the president in Washington next week. That meeting comes as President Trump has been warning he is considering pulling the U.S. out of NATO after Operation Epic Fury is over. A Reuters headline reads about the president. Asked if he was thinking about pulling out of NATO, he said, "Oh, absolutely, without question. Wouldn't you do that if you were me?" And here's the UK Prime Minister weighing in.
Firstly, NATO is the single most effective military alliance the world has ever seen, and it has kept us safe for many decades, and we are fully committed to NATO. Secondly, that whatever the pressure on me and others, whatever the noise, I'm going to act in the British national interest in all the decisions that I make.
And on the ground here in the Middle East, the president says the United States is going to hit all of America's military objectives in Iran, quote, extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Brian.
Thanks so much, Matt. Meanwhile, sirens heard across central Israel as Iran fires a barrage of missiles in the week. Here we are on Passover Seder. It comes as President Trump made this promise to Middle Eastern allies. Listen.
I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America and the world. And I'll tell you, the world is watching.
And take the president's speech last night, and what Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said 2 days ago. He talked about decisive action and this coming to an end. What does that mean? Let's bring in retired Air Force Brigadier General and former White House National Security Council Senior Director Robert Spalding. General, your takeaway about where we're at in this conflict?
I think we're mostly done. That being said, as you get towards the tail end of any conflict, the targets you're trying to take out are hard to find. And so there's going to be a heavy intelligence effort to try to find the pieces that we've missed. And, you know, so it could go on more than the 2 weeks that he's mentioned.
So, General, I see an aircraft carrier come. I see 2,000 at least from the 82nd Airborne and about 5,000 Marines. From your experience, they don't just report for duty and say, I'll figure it out when you get here. What kind of mission are they on?
Well, I mean, they could be in preparation of a recovery operation to get the enriched uranium. You know, it's 60% enriched uranium, which is about a couple of weeks from nuclear weapons grade material, which means that could be a deadly weapon in the hands of a terrorist. So a high priority would be to secure that material, and that may be why they have those troops forward located. So
we got two things: get the strait open and get the uranium out. If we could do both, we could continue to monitor it, or we could try to get in there. They say would be maybe a couple-week operation. We'd have to set up our own perimeter, go in there with heavy equipment, and send people in. There could be radiation exposure. There could be booby traps to go get it out. At the same time, you might have enough, and you tell me, to also have an operation to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Would you do both at the same time? Would you do one and not the other?
No, I think you can do both. I think the challenge, though, that I would say, and the president has articulated this, is nobody's really helped us. And so if we are going to open the Strait of Hormuz, and it ought to be for the U.S. national interests, and I would consider charging a fee to Europe and China and the rest that benefits from that oil flowing through there.
Here's the president on what the facts are about Iran today, thanks to his decision. Watch.
We are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We are going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong, and the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer.
General, your thought, are they no longer the bully of the Middle East?
Well, we've certainly taken away their offensive capability, which means that, yeah, they're essentially been neutered. That being said, they can still conduct terrorist activities, and I think we need to continue to push, and that should come in the coming years. We need to continue to push on the regime to break it up, to prevent future terrorist activity. We may have to go back again.
And lastly, Dennis Ross was on with me, served for 5 presidents, Democrats and Republicans. He said from his sources, he thinks if we leave tomorrow, the regime doesn't last 10 months because of what's going to be left.
I think that's right. You know, I think they are struggling to control the country. And now you're going to see factions develop. They've already started to develop. Obviously, we've heard, you know, either the administration's talking to somebody or they're not, and that's because there's infighting going on. So I would expect, yeah, you're going to see fracturing. You're going to see the Kurds probably move in, begin to take some of the territory that they want. And Iran's going to be a pretty chaotic place, kind of like Iraq was after Saddam left.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. General Robert Spalding, thanks for your insight.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.